Welcome back, comrades. Sorry for the interruption in the last video. Phone's full again. I figured a few things out about it, though, so we might be good. When I stopped, I was explaining, how a prison's a warehouse, and and that's what they're doing. They're audit counting, and they're using the trust. A lot of people say, oh, our prisons are overcrowded. No, they're not. They have exactly as many people in them as they need. Like a warehouse. When a warehouse is full, it's making the most money it can. When a couple shelves get empty, you have to fill the shelf back up. That happens a lot in the prison system. People get out, and they bring more in. People die, and they bring more in. It's just a revolving door of manipulating the trust. And in the Constitution, it talks about involuntary servitude in the United States Constitution and in the Constitution of the individual states. Most state constitutions talk about involuntary servitude, and that's what's going on in our government right now. They are filling up the warehouses, the military complexes, with people. And I'm telling you right now, and then they pay them next to nothing, 17 cents an hour, to go down and cook in the mess hall, to clean up around the place. They pay them a measly amount to keep the prison running. Most prisons in Tennessee, like just recently, the Tennessee Department of Corrections came out with a thing that they're less than 50% staffed, and they have a problem with all the overtime pay they're having to pay these because they don't have enough people to do it. Imagine what the prison would be like if the inmates weren't forced to work. You're a slave in the situation like that. Abraham Lincoln didn't free the slaves. He made us all slaves. I say that quite often, and there's a reason for that. But it's not really us as the humans that are the slaves. It's the trust that's the slave. You don't have a job, your trust does. You don't have a license, your trust does. You don't have bank accounts, your trust does. We've touched on this briefly, and even you'll hear me use the word person. I'm misusing it, I really am, because you as a sentient being are not a person. Persons can be many different things, and I want to touch on that for a little bit in this video right here. So I might as well do it now. This is from Black's Law Dictionary, and under the definition of person, right, a man considered according to the rank he holds in society. A man considered to the rank he holds in society. Well, if you don't hold any rank, are you a person? With all the rights which the rights to which the place he holds entitles him, and the duties which it is imposed, or which it imposes. So, back when slaves, they weren't considered persons. You'll hear about that, in the Constitution. Oh, I'm only 2/3 a person. Yeah, because you're holding no rank in society. Actually, you're no person at all. And then it goes on to say, the word in its natural and usual signification includes women as well as men. Okay? Then there's a reference to cases. Term may include artificial being or beings as a corporation. A corporation's a person. There's some references to the case. People versus Commissioners of Texas. Territorial corporation, that's one. And foreign corporations under statutes forbidding the taking of property without due process of law and giving it to persons the equal protection of the law. You'll hear that a lot. Due process is equal protection of the law. And I'm going to get to due process here in just a second. But as you read down through here, you'll see all these different references to what a person is. Relating to taxation and the revenue laws. Usury contracts. And my favorite is right down here a little bit farther, and it says that and concerning the admissibility as a witness of a party in his own behalf when the opposite party is a living person. Here's my favorite one. Corporations are persons as the word is used in the first clause of the 14th Amendment. Ooh. Okay, now I'm going to talk briefly on due process. In the Constitution, it talks about due process in two places. One's the 5th Amendment and one's the 14th Amendment. Why is due process in the Constitution twice? Because the 5th, due process in the 5th pertains to you as the living being, and due process in the 14th Amendment pertains to the trust. Okay? Like I just read, the definition of person, it's how the word is used in the 14th Amendment. So let's talk about the 14th Amendment. It says right here, the 14th Amendment, Section 1, all persons. You could just say all corporations. All corporations born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. So when you read that, and you read the word person, you could just slip corporation in there with it. That's what I mean by Abraham Lincoln didn't free the slaves. He made all of his slaves through our corporation, or our trust. And so think about that. If all corporations are persons, born or naturalized in the United States, your birth certificate and your Social Security account are persons born in the United States. Your corporation birth certificate, Social Security, and then it goes on to say, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It's your trust corporation that's subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Not your man, not your woman, not your sentient being, that's subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. It was from that right there that I got, when I addressed this board, I said, look, I'm not a resident of Tennessee, and I'm not a United States citizen. I was identifying myself at that time as the human. I am the man. Because a resident, it says, in the state wherein they reside. If you reside, then you're a resident. You're a citizen, or citizens of the United States. It's the corporation that's the citizen of the United States. It's the trust business entity, or a corporation, trust corporation, that is the citizen of the United States. And it's also the resident of the state wherein you reside. They are the ones that are subject, sub meaning below, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. You as a man are not subject to their jurisdiction. It's your trust. So that's where that's at, man. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments are called the Reconstruction Amendments. Before the states, the southern states, were re-entered the Congress, those three amendments were voted on and activated. The 13th Amendment has to do with slavery. Neither slave nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime, wherein the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So there's the slavery, okay? You're not going to be a slave unless you're imprisoned. And it's the trust that goes to prison. You're being held collateral for the trust. The 14th Amendment is the citizenship, and the 15th Amendment is the right to vote. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous conditions of servitude. They're trying to, the freed slaves can, you can vote now. So that's what happened, and then after they, enacted these amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, okay, South, you can come back in. So that's what you need to think about that. You have the right under the 14th Amendment to due process. No, you don't. You have it under the 5th. If you're ever going to claim due process, do it under the 5th Amendment. But there it goes. The 13th Amendment has to do with involuntary servitude. You don't volunteer to go to prison. I don't know anybody that volunteers to go to prison. There are a couple of pretty whacked out dudes that were in there for quite a long time. And when they got paroled, they were so institutionalized that they went out right away and committed a crime just to come back to what they knew. And that happens from time to time. But most people don't, okay, I want to go to prison. Doesn't happen like that. So what they do is they make up all these rules and these laws, and, now you break them. Okay, there's one we can warehouse. And we'll make him work. Those guys that are in prison working for 17 cents an hour, they don't want to work for 17 cents an hour. So the inmates are actually employees of the prison. They're trusts. They're actually employees of the prison. They take inmates and pay them. It's good pay, actually, in prison to do this. But to work in the infirmary, watching the suicidal patients, suicide watch, they pay them really good. I think they get like 65 cents or something like that. You know, and all they got to do is sit around and watch and make sure dude don't kill himself. So, because it looks bad, we got a problem in Tennessee right now where the prisons aren't reporting the deaths. Yeah, man. Yeah, we had a couple of guys die last night, and I'll just stick them out at Boot Hill. It's a screwed up deal, and they're making a buttload of money. They're crazy making money. But that's what prison is. It's a concentration camp, a military concentration camp. So the next video I'm going to get into is what I was doing with the conditional acceptances in prison, and how I spent time doing that kind of stuff in prison. And then I'm going to make one video on what's new, what's going on new in the system, and it's pretty crazy. So stick around. Love to share it with you. Peace. Have a good night.